Dude, so I want to talk a little bit about your technique. So how did you develop such a solid, particularly your right hand?
My long fingers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. How do you develop such a solid right hand technique and left hand? You have such precision with your left hand as well. Like,
oh, thanks.
Do you have any classical training?
No.
Or is it just kind of self? Like, how do you figure it out?
So I get asked a lot because maybe just playing with fingers and playing with nails, if there's any classical influence, there really is zero classical influence. I think if there was a classical influence, I'd be doing it all wrong because the classical guitar hand position is just so radically different from my hand position.
Sure.
My hand is very flat, very straight. You can see from that angle. I don't know if you guys can, but my philosophy on the guitar and what I'm playing is that once I got used to ditching the guitar pick and playing with fingernails, it's a mix of skin and nail, by the way. So even though I have nails, I'm still kind of, it's like I'm picking with the skin of my finger, but then the nail's kind of kissing the string a little bit. But first of all, the nails allow you to do things like, you know, right-handed harmonics. All right, so nails allow you to kind of do that. But in terms of all the extra kind of percussive things and weird little techniques, the philosophy is we're trying to add something to the song. We're not trying to replace the musical element of the guitar with nonsense drums, right? So it's like, how can I get a bass drum, you know, with a chord, right? And then it becomes, okay, well, if I hit my wrist back but flick my finger down at the same time, I can do that. And I've got an almost bass drum and hi-hat kind of thing, right? How can I get a snare drum and a chord like that? Or so it's always, you know, something and a something else. And once those little micro techniques become kind of natural, the right hand technique is really all about staying as close to the sound hole as possible. There's actually there are songs where there's all flying all over the place because, you know, I want to get YouTube views. That's a lie. I mean, I do, but that's not why I sound. You know, you can hammer on and create interesting things while your hand's away. But generally, it's about creating music and trying to self-accompany with elements that keep me around here. A classic example of that, actually, going back to those harmonics, is, you know, I'm picking these harmonics with my second finger or my third finger here, and the reason I'm doing that is so this thumb is free to accompany. But if I'm down here, I'm picking the harmonics with the thumb, so these fingers are free to accompany. So it's always thinking about what else can I do with my limbs and appendages.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely.
So what else is there to do? The ideal situation is that you can entirely self-accompany with just the right hand. And this hand doesn't really need any training, right? You know, so this is only doing regular boring guitar playing. This is just the regular, you don't need to do anything. It's just a hand playing the guitar. But once you get those little rudiments and little flippity-doos and things, you can self-accompany without much bullshit.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm a huge fan of players like Petteri Sariola from Finland. A huge fan of, gosh, there's who was I watching recently who was awesome? Oh, there's a guy called, a guy from France. I'm going to butcher his name. It's Haildesta on Instagram. If I got that wrong, please amend. But he's a French guy who kind of is into like hip hop and rap and R&B and soul. But he's playing and singing in a way that's like that. Okay. But he's got such a groove. He's kind of doing like the Jay Dilla, Questlove kind of beats, but whilst, you know, singing and that guy has the best groove out of any guitar player I've ever seen ever. And he's not really in the guitar scene so much. I think he's just a guy who's singing songs, but man, he's good. Another one with an insanely unique right-hand technique is Ben Lacey. Yeah. You know Ben Lacey?
I've heard of him, yeah.
What a beast. He's doing this kind of like string dragging thing. well, he's playing. I don't know exactly what he's doing. He's on electric guitar, but it sounds like he's kind of like dragging his finger over the strings.
Yeah.
I became such a fan of him when I was at university. I tried to do a Stevie Wonder tune, trying to copy his technique.
Sure.
So but on acoustic, I tried to like add like the kicks and the snares, and then I realized that like if you open the strings, you start to get the first notes of like like Stevie Wonder stuff, and that's the hand kind of just dragging. So that's a unique kind of right hand technique. So Ben Lacey, man, he's got a groove. I remember I was at Summer NAMM in Nashville with Ben and his wife, and I needed to get to Knoxville, Tennessee for a gig, and they live there. So he goes, "Hey, Mike, we'll give you a lift, man." And we're driving on the highway between. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Lexington, Kentucky. We were going to. So we're driving all the way to Lexington from Nashville, and he's like, "Mike, we're gonna stop for food. You ever heard of a place called McDonald's? Do you have that in England?" It's like, they got this thing called the Big Mac. It's amazing.
And that's food that doesn't look like food, right?
Well, yeah, some of it looks like food, but it ain't food. It ain't food.
Sure.
It started as food. But yeah, man, that's Ben Lacey and that guy again. I'm so sorry for not knowing how to pronounce the name. Hail, like
we'll put it on the screen.
Edesta. You'll find him if you search for him.
Sure.
Amazing,
dude.